There is a quiet contradiction many people live inside. They earn a low salary, and they assume peace of mind must wait until the salary grows. So they spend their days anxious, tired, and hopeful all at once, hopeful that someday, a bigger number will finally bring the calm they are missing. But that day rarely comes on its own. Today, I want to tell you about a quiet Japanese secret, how people on low salaries have built not just growing wealth, but genuine peace, long before their income ever changed. And it begins, as it so often does, with a simple philosophy called Kaizen. Let me tell you about a man named Daichi. Daichi delivered packages for a small courier company on the outskirts of Fukuoka. His salary was among the lowest of anyone he knew. Long hours, tired legs, a small apartment above a noodle shop. And yet, anyone who spent time with Daichi noticed something unusual. He was calm. Genuinely calm, in a way that had nothing to do with how much he earned. One evening, an older coworker asked him how he managed to seem so at peace with so little. Daichi smiled and said his grandfather, a fisherman, once told him, "The sea does not give a large catch to those who wait for calm water. It gives a modest catch, again and again, to those who go out anyway." Daichi didn't fully understand it as a boy. As a man supporting himself on a small salary, he understood it completely. This is the essence of the Kaizen secret, that peace and wealth are not created by the size of what arrives, but by the steadiness of what is done with it, repeated without stopping. And to understand this fully, imagine a small stream flowing over stone. A single drop of water seems powerless against solid rock. It changes nothing on its own in a single moment, but that same drop, falling again and again in the same place, without stopping, eventually carves a path the stone could never resist. Wealth and peace, for someone on a low salary, are carved the very same way, not through force, but through repetition too patient to be noticed at first. Here is what most people miss. They believe peace will arrive once wealth arrives, so they wait for the income to grow before allowing themselves to feel calm. Daichi understood something different. He understood that peace must be built first in small daily proof, and that this same proof is exactly what quietly builds the wealth people are waiting for. This matters because anxiety about money is rarely only about the amount. It is about uncertainty, the feeling of not knowing whether you are moving forward or simply surviving. The common mistake is believing more income removes that uncertainty. Often, it does not. It simply raises the scale of the same anxious pattern. But small, repeated action, done consistently, replaces uncertainty with quiet evidence. And evidence, gathered daily, becomes the true source of peace. So how did Daichi, on the lowest salary among his peers, build both peace and slowly growing wealth? He followed 3 simple rules. The first rule was the daily small drop. Each day, without exception, Daichi set aside a very small amount, sometimes barely enough to notice. It was never about the size of the drop. It was about never missing a day, allowing the stream to keep flowing, even during difficult weeks. The second rule was the evening gratitude count. Each night, before sleeping, Daichi spent 1 quiet minute naming one thing that had gone well that day, financially or otherwise. Not to ignore hardship, but to train his mind to notice progress instead of only lack. This small mental habit, repeated nightly, slowly reduced the anxious noise that so often clouds financial thinking. The third rule was the modest, steady placement. Whatever small amount accumulated from his daily drop, Daichi moved it consistently into something that could grow quietly over time. He never waited for a larger amount to feel worth investing. He trusted the stream, not the size of any single drop. None of these 3 rules required Daichi to change his low-paying job overnight. They only required him to remain consistent, in small ways, day after day. Years later, Daichi still worked a modest job, though a slightly better one. His salary had grown only slightly, but his savings, quietly carved over years, had grown far beyond what his co-workers expected. More than that, he still carried that same unusual calm, not because his life had become easy, but because he had stopped waiting for ease to begin building peace. And here is the truth Daichi came to understand, one that so many discover only after years of unnecessary waiting. Peace was never something wealth would eventually deliver. Peace was the quiet proof, built daily, that eventually became wealth itself. Those who wait for a higher salary to feel calm often remain anxious no matter how much they later earn. But those who apply 1%, gently and without stopping, often find that peace arrives long before the wealth does, and the wealth, when it comes, feels like a natural extension of a life already at ease. You do not need a higher salary to feel steady. You do not need calm water, or a better month, or someone else's certainty. You only need one small drop today, and the quiet decision to return tomorrow. If Daichi's story spoke to you, consider subscribing to Will and Wisdom, so these quiet philosophies can reach you exactly when you need them. And if you already have your own small daily drop, share it in the comments. It may become someone else's beginning today. In our next video, we will explore another timeless Japanese principle, one that teaches how small daily peace can shape an entire lifetime. Until then, let one small drop fall today. And do not stop.